real thing I have ever experienced in my life.
I got fired from working at Red Robin for doing that. When do we get to bury him in a thing and jerk off on him, though?
I'd say I can take on 3 11-year-olds. And he clicks the button, and he's just this woman cussing him the fuck out.
This is the weirdest theory I've ever heard in my entire life. Well, in a lot of ways, Big Boy has never left. I agree.
He will tell you I'm a bad driver, but there's no evidence for that.
I have intuition and I'm deep, and then, dude, people fall for absolute monsters on a regular basis.
Hey guys, welcome to the Two Hippies, One Drunk podcast. I'm your host this week, Tyler Charles, and joining me as always is Scott Ryan.
Hey, what up?
And Eric Fady.
Hello.
This show runs a little bit different, as in we switch hosting roles each week from all three of us. This week's my week, and before we get into the actual episode, I just want to tell you guys we are running a promotion right now. If you give us 5 stars and a review on iTunes and screenshot that, send it to our Facebook page. You can either get an option of 2 of my drawings for an 8x10 print of drawings I've done, or an hour tarot reading from our resident mage, Scott Ryan.
And either way, it's a hell of a deal. So you should definitely do it.
Yep, we've had people do it before. It had a lot of positive reaction from it. You just get some free stuff. It's pretty awesome. This week, we're gonna be discussing and reviewing one of my favorite action movies, in my opinion. The Last Action Hero. We kind of go through the movie. But just any first responses? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm gonna chime in here right away.
Positive or negative? You don't have to get into a whole story.
No. But because I think it's literally been on this show discussed a few times how I don't like action movies.
Action movies. Yeah.
Right. It came out. I don't remember exactly how it's come up, but it seems like it's come up a few times that I've really hammered home how I don't like
mainly
boom.
Die Hard.
Well, I just always use Die Hard. I just always use Die Hard.
Have you?
I've not seen any of them. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I always just use Die Hard as kind of a generic manly thing. They could be Rambo, they could be I'm trying to think of other movies that Terminator. I've never seen Terminator. I don't really think I would care. But so my point is I've said that a few times, and I went into this
you should care.
I went into this really not wanting to I wanted to come on here and go, this is stupid.
Honestly, I kind of had that interpretation before I picked a movie I was going to pick. And a part of that was being I kind of want Eric to maybe like this movie.
Yeah.
I don't want him to just be like, this is some duty shit. And I feel like this is kind of a perfect one because it makes fun of the tropes.
Yeah, right. So by the way, so I'll just end it with saying my impression were that I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yes. Good times.
I was shocked. I was shocked when I looked to see it was 93. That in 93 we'd already gotten to the point where people were making fun of the idea of the action movie.
Of the action movie. Yeah.
So
movies,
that seems pretty innovative to me, even if I know there was a lot of them in the 80s, but still I felt like that it was, I didn't realize that so early on people had already started to kind of joke about the idea of these movies. So
yeah, and it's funny, as far as my opinion goes, it'll be less of a shock, but I love action movies. I love 80s action movies. I love practical effects. I love the squibs. I love did they just oh shit, we gotta blow up a car? All right,
we're gonna blow up a fucking car.
To a car and blow it the fuck up on screen.
Right.
And they are killing people in front of this kid left and right, and I am all for it.
Although they're not right. I mean, in a way.
Fair enough. Movie logic. It's not like they're coming back though.
Well, what I was gonna say though is I think it is funny when you were bringing that up about it being 93 and stuff and everything. Do you guys have any idea what the Rotten Tomatoes score of this movie is?
No.
40%.
Really?
Yeah.
That's shocking. I've seen movies that have a higher rating that are worse. For sure.
I honestly like, and even being a fan of, like I said, I would maybe put it as, you brought up Terminator. I think Terminator probably indisputably is the best thing Arnold Schwarzenegger ever did. But like, I'd probably put Last Action Hero beneath that. I can't think.
Yeah.
Predator, maybe Predator. But it's one of the best. And
I will say this. You know what's funny?
Like, this is why critics are fucking morons.
Yeah.
First of all,
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
When I first started, when the movie opens and it is the Last Action, it's not Last Action Hero. It's what's the movie called?
It's Slater.
Slater 4.
Slater 4.
Slater.
Slater.
Well, not the. He's rewatching.
But the
3,
name of the
I think.
movie is like Slater something.
Okay, well, he's
Machine
rewatching the
Slater.
third one.
I can't even remember.
I thought it
Yeah.
was just Slater.
And maybe it is just Slater. And anyway, and so you don't know yet that this kid is watching the movie, and they're just doing the opening scene, and I was just like, yeah, boy, this is gonna be every fucking action movie. And then I find
Dude, I loved how his entrance, dude. Him coming and walking on cop cars.
Yeah.
Is one of the best, coolest things. Did you like that opening sequence, or did you?
No, see, that's my point. Like when I watched that, I was like, holy fuck, I'm gonna be watching one of these movies. And then we back up and we find out that he's watching a movie.
See, well, go ahead.
No, and then I was like, then I was okay with it because I enjoyed that they were making fun of it.
Yeah.
I understand why you guys like it. You know what's weird? This is what I've always said. I don't like, for example, I don't like mobster movies. I've never cared about the mob or whatever.
Awful take.
But I like Western movies. So I just like different. I like the stories. I think I just like them in different settings. Like I love Clint Eastwood's old Westerns from back in the day.
The
which is almost the same thing.
Are kind of based on that kind of shit. A loner dude
I know.
comes to a place,
Yeah,
saves it.
It makes no sense.
Say, and this might be your mileage may vary sort of situation, just depending on your personal preference. But I love a good corny action movie. Like I would have watched that pretend movie they do at the beginning.
Oh yeah, hell
yeah.
Sure, I would have totally been down.
All in.
I feel like the Clint Eastwood stuff, that old Western sort of stuff. It's like, what if we weren't self-aware and we weren't fun? And
I know. I'm telling you, there's.
It lacks something because of that.
There's just, I think it's a weirdness that we all have, for some reason. Like I said, in reality, the Westerns I like, there's no different than action movies. I just accept it because I kind of like the idea of the cowboy with the, I don't know why. I don't know why I like it better. It doesn't really make sense, but that is how my mind works. I just watched, what was it the other day? Tombstone the other day. Fucking, with Val Kilmer and he's Doc Holliday and I fucking get off on that shit, but I won't. But I would never watch some of the movies you're talking about. So it's weird.
So
it doesn't make sense.
So out of curiosity, then, because this to me would be the perfect mixture of those two things. How do you feel about Django Unchained?
I never even saw it. So
are you fucking serious? Oh my god!
I mean, that's gonna be
I don't even know what it's about. I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard the name. I didn't even.
Gonna be one of the movies I'll be watching, making you watch.
Maybe
okay.
Quentin Tarantino's best movie.
Yeah,
maybe.
Honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure what it's about. I've just heard the name before.
It's fantastic. Well, we're not getting into Django Unchained.
Yeah.
We're getting into Last Action Hero.
Yeah,
and
fair.
like I said, the movie opens where there's a hostage situation. Arnold Schwarzenegger is playing this guy Slater. He's a badass fucking movie star. He's a cop. He's a renegade cop. Comes in there, hitting up literally stomping on these cop cars. And the commissioner that's outside of this hostage situation is like, don't go in there. Actually, the first line of the movie is, "Oh, there's a hell of a way to spend Christmas."
Yeah. Oh, I know, dude.
I love the commissioner in this.
Yeah,
such a good fake.
I mean, eventually he's just babbling nonsense.
Well, I do too, by the way. I do too.
Even before he does his angry thing, when he throws the guy off of the roof at the beginning, and he's like, "You let those kids go! You let those kids go!" Like I was dying.
But see, again, the thing I'm telling you, in my head, before I realize that I'm about to go into a kind of a parody / real movie when he's in there. Hell of a way to start a Sunday. I just remember going, oh my God, or Christmas, whatever.
Christmas.
I just remember going, oh my God, I'm gonna have to sit here. And then I looked at the thing, I'm like, 2 hours, holy shit, what am I gonna do?
Another thing I loved he said was like he kept yelling, "Don't let that plainclothes officer in there. Don't you let that plainclothes officer in there." It's like, why is that? Just say his name. You're all at the same precinct. You know who he is.
And you know the other thing I realized?
Somebody tased this guy.
The other
later, man.
The other thing that I realized makes me feel really.
He's fucking hurting you when you tase him.
I could imagine, honestly, Arnold Schwarzenegger being one of just the strongest men to have ever existed. The most ripped dudes ever exist. I could imagine he's coming at you, you shoot him with a taser, and he just kind of is stumbling.
Yeah.
One of the things I love so much is, like, I know it's later in the movie, but like when, even in the real world, he can rip car doors off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Although I did see, that's where I did, and I know this is we're jumping ahead almost, but that's where I really started to love the movie, where they go in the real world, and he shoots the guns the one time.
Oh yeah,
and he's totally off.
Somebody.
It's like,
okay, we'll get to that. So it's essentially this hostage. It's a movie, like we discussed, but it's a hostage situation. This bad guy, what's his name? The
Hatcher or something? Henchman? Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper, yeah.
Is it Jack the Ripper?
Yeah, I think they're straight saying Jack the Ripper in this movie. So,
well, that guy's great too. You know that guy.
Oh, he is disgusting looking. Like he really is vile. Yeah, I don't understand why they got this dude in here.
No, they got the exact right guy. I'm stumbling at what the movie actor's name is, but he's also the guy who plays Chucky in the original.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
That is
like, that's a great choice.
No, it is perfect. They got some good ones. Not a fan of the little shit kid.
Which also kid is really quick too. I was about to say, because he does come back later. Both the villains in this movie kick ass. And to me,
I'll give you that. Yeah, definitely.
Me, a villain is so important in a good action movie.
Right, for sure.
I want to be grossed out. I want to be mad at him.
Yep.
I want to feel scared.
And like he kills the main character. I mean, Arnold's kid in this scene. Like literally pushes him off the edge of this thing.
Right.
And then you realize, we're in a movie. It pulls out, like Eric was saying, and there's this kid in this empty fucking Victorian beautiful theater by himself with 2 old guys that are there. Anybody else get a creepy vibe from the old guy living in the
well, I mean, once you look at it later, it's
like anytime you have a kid hanging out with an old man, it's like, what's this dynamic?
Yeah,
it's a problem.
Well, I wrote, this, by the way, not to plug my own stupid shit, but I
literally read your post.
Yeah, it inspired that because I made a post today on my Facebook about the idea because in these movies.
Earnest? When I read that post, are you earnest from the movies?
What'd you say?
I don't know what you're referring to.
I wrote a post today.
Yeah, explain the post. Sorry.
I wrote a post today, but it was inspired from this movie, and it's like so many of these movies. They always have this weird old dude who usually a kid who's like lost. His mom or dad isn't there or something. He doesn't have friends, and somehow he gloms on to this older person, and the mom's like, I don't even like Back to the Future, Doc Brown. I don't want you hanging out with that weird old dude. And my post was just kind of like I could end up being that guy in reality. It inspired a kind of a joke I made today where I could see myself being some dude later 10 years from now where people are like, anyway, whatever, doesn't matter.
No.
But
and I do think totally it needs to either be a completely innocent, I lost my own youth sort of situation. It is in this movie. I never used the movie ticket, blah, blah, blah. Or the guy has to be like vaguely developmentally.
Like Ernest.
Yeah.
Right. And by the way, real quick, a story that just hit my mind. It's somewhat related, but like Tyler was like the idea of being in a theater with old people, and it just kind of hit my flashback. It's not necessarily really like a creepy thing, but it's more just a funny thing. So I had a period in high school where I had
hell of a entrance to a story.
I know, right? Well, I just meant it's not creepy. It's mostly funny.
Yeah,
Just
get the fact that it's creepy out of your head. It's not creepy.
Right.
Okay.
No, it's not. Definitely. But when I was in high school, I quit a job one time because I was a high school kid and whatever, doesn't matter. But I didn't give my 2 weeks. My mom was okay with me leaving. She's like, she understood why. But she's like, give your 2 weeks. And I'm like, yeah, fuck that. And I just called in, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I didn't want to tell my parents I'd quit. So I just told them for 2 weeks that I was going to work. And it was like kind of a George Costanza situation where I would put my clothes on and pretend I was going to work. But one time I went to see a movie and it was called The Battlefield. There was in the early 2000s a very long Civil War based movie, like very long, to the point it had 2 parts in the movie theater. And so when I was watching the movie, it was literally just me and one older couple in the entire theater. And I was watching it, and halfway through, when I got to the intermission, I looked at the time. I'm like, oh crap! Based on my work schedule, I actually have to leave. But like, I started talking to the couple, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just always been a big Civil War buff. My family used to take me to battlefields, and they're like, oh, that's very interesting. We had this whole long talk. The movie second half, it gets dark. The second half starts. And I look at the clock, I go, oh shit, I really need to get going. And I just leave. And I always wondered what this old couple thought. Cause like I was there by myself talking about how much I love the Civil War and this and that. And then the second half starts, I just leave and never come back. And it's like
yeah, okay. And just really quick, when we were talking about the old guy, young kid sort of situations and all that, you were lucky that when that happened, you were a teenager, because pretending you're going to work and doing something else, it's fun and cheeky when you're a teenager.
Right.
It's over 20 and it's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Man hanging out on a park bench in a full suit.
Yeah, right. I know. Dude, seriously.
Like
That's
that
a real
serial
problem.
killer who murdered his you know about that? There was like a guy who did that, like for like a year. He was just racking up debt, just pretending to go to work, hanging out in the suit,
And then killed his family and went to
seriously? Oh my god. No, I didn't do that.
That's good.
Anyway, we can get back to the last action hero.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to kind of get, I skipped over in the movie when the kid is in what's his name? Jack the Ripper's hands. The Jack, why can't I remember his name? The main guy, Slater throws a grenade at the guy, and then it's supposed to like he calls his bluff. The bad guy calls his bluff, and the kid picks it up, and it's a knife,
right? And
he stabs the bad guy. Like I love that fucking scene that kid got an opportunity to stab somebody.
By the way, that like insinuates that at some point this kid knows his dad is a rebel cop, blah blah blah, action hero. And there might be a situation, son, where a bad guy has you. I'm gonna throw this grenade, and you have to know that it's a knife. And he has to be like get his son to be okay with stabbing somebody. Which I understand he's a bad guy, but still, dude, that's a lot of stuff there to put on your little kid.
I agree. His daughter too, way overtrained. Stop training your kids. You're putting them in danger.
His daughter definitely, by the way, didn't look like she could have literally been dating him at all. Like, it's like they weren't the same age in any capacity. Like,
no, she wanted the little kid.
Anyway.
Fair enough.
I like seeing these movies, by the way. And another thing that happened in this movie that you don't see anymore is the generic cliche hot girls. Like, that's kind of gone by the wayside now. But, the one scene where they bust into like the burlesque house or something and just, no needed and no added asses and stuff like that.
Yeah. Or a slow motion scene. They're in a pool.
Yeah.
Like, anything like that.
I don't know how to feel about that, because Tyler and I have actually talked about this dynamic before, and like it is kind of weird because on the one hand, like, why are action movies so desexualized now?
Right.
Yeah.
Like it is very strange where it's like got all of this like macho energy, but then
Black Widow's getting it.
But that but like at the same time, I also kind of hate sex scenes in movies.
Yeah.
Because it's just one of those things.
I feel like they're fine if you're just watching it and hanging out alone. But if you go with a group,
what's funny?
It doesn't matter who the group is. It can be a group of friends. It can be your family. It can be anybody. It's
Because
still
you don't even want your creepy friend
it
being
can
like,
be a
oh,
date.
yeah,
it can be a date. Like, it's all kind of awkward.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about that when you mention that, and I haven't thought about it, but actually, my thought when you say sex scenes in movies is when I was a kid and porn wasn't just everywhere and this and that, they were awesome because you're like, oh. Then you'd be like, I'm gonna get that in VHS later, or this or that, right? In your mind.
Dude, yeah.
But as I'm an adult,
10-year-old me, dude, flipping through Showtime and Cinemax and
pausing at like the American Pie when the ass scene, you know, the ass is there.
This movie's rated R. It might have some titties in it.
Yeah,
right.
That's who it's for, not for groups of people.
No, but but to your point though, like as an adult, quote unquote, as a 37-year-old person now, honest to God. You're right. No matter what the movie is or show is, I don't really need it or care to have a sex scene in it. Like what is unless it's really, really needed. You know what I mean? But really, you could just insinuate it, even if it's a story
it's
of like
part of art or something. You're like including it in a way that matters.
But if you think about it, there's very few ways that it should ever technically matter. You can always just like even like in like one of my favorite shows, Californication. You know, David Duchovny is a big sex addict. In reality, though,
completely out.
What's up?
You need some sex in there.
No, but in reality, do you though? In reality, can't you just insinuate that they do it and then cut?
Like experience that like movies reflect that shit.
Well, here's my thing. I think I would be in between you guys because I do think it's weird. It's been completely cut out, and I think that says something about our culture.
Yeah.
At the same time, really think about like how weird it is. You're just sitting there with your boys, and you were watching a movie, and now you're all just for like 30 seconds or a minute. You're just watching these three people pretend to fuck on screen.
Now, here's the thing. I don't
like Game of Thrones episode I've watched.
Or you rent a movie, like you can watch it with your mom. You're going to your parents for
right. Well, Tyler, here's the thing. But Tyler, here's the thing. I'm not saying that I don't think passionate scenes don't need to be happening. Like I can understand you having in a romantic scene or something that shows them like I don't mind even making out some mild like passion. I just think when they get to the point where they're essentially showing sex, if you really think about it, why is it needed?
Like, put a 1 or 2 thrust in there. We don't need the whole like change in positions and all over the place. I'm saying I want some sex. I want to know they fucked. I don't want to see a candle on the table and then it pan out. Like that's what I don't.
But like you do know they fucked.
Yeah, but I want to see it. Like come on.
Well,
it's a part of the human experience. Why negate that just because you're touchy about it?
But I'm not even touchy about it. I just, if you think about it, it's just not needed. I don't actually care. I'm just.
But here's the thing, too. There are very, very, very few actually well done sex scenes. Like, because that's the thing, too. Is more often than not, especially with these action movies with all of this, it's like, okay, yep, there's the hero, and there's his prize for
for being the man.
Yeah, exactly. And they have no chemistry, and there's nothing about it feels real or natural.
Right.
Yep.
Maybe sometimes in sitcom, not sitcom because it's not a comedy, but necessarily, but maybe in shows at least where it's a long running thing and they're working together every day for years, they have a little more chemistry. Sometimes I think they do. A movie like this, though, dude, you're right.
Oh my God. Imagine like a extended scene in the middle of Friends with like Ross and Monica just like railing.
Him and his sister would be weird.
Right?
I mean, go for it.
That would be weird, Scott, to have him and his sister having sex. I mean, like,
Rachel. He said Rachel.
No, I said Monica.
Oh no, he said Ross and Monica. I'm like,
weird.
That would be rather odd.
Maybe that might be an acceptable way. You're really pushing some boundaries.
All right. Let me read.
It's all right. I had to do it.
You're watching The Office. It's season 5, and Jim and
Pam just is getting fucked by Jim.
That's what I'm saying. Pam's just blowing Jim. We're staying on it for like 30 seconds straight.
No.
Right.
Okay, so Last Action Hero.
Yeah. Of course.
Just for the record. Jesus Christ. Let's see here. Now I literally tried to bring us back, and where we were last time, the kid was hanging out with the old man up by the film booth. The old man gives him, I don't know, wants him to come back at midnight to hang out in the theater alone.
I
to
mean,
watch
nothing
the
about it seemed
premiere?
creepy. I know what you're saying,
I
but in the movie,
agree,
it didn't.
but he
It,
didn't seem creepy. I'll give you that. Everything he was doing was a problem for me.
yeah, I get it, but I think that if you look at that and anything, I mean, I've had when I was younger, you know, working at
never
big.
hung out with an old man that was a stranger, more or less.
But he's not a stranger. You have to assume that they're not straight.
Yeah. Have you, Eric?
No, you have to assume that they're not straight. By any means, they're strangers. Like, he's letting this kid in. They know each other. He's warning him about getting back to school. You just have to assume that this kid who doesn't seem to have many friends, his dad died, and so he's, you know, living his life kind of vicariously through movies. So this guy is kind of sees that, and that's how I feel.
Counterpoint, all of those things makes for a very good molestation victim.
It does, but they don't. To me, in this case, they don't lead. I don't know.
And that's what you're describing a pedophile. I feel like he's all directing it towards a child, and it's like he does seem endearing. I'll give him that, but he just comes off creepy to me when he says, "Come back at midnight." And he has to go to school. What are you doing? This is insane that you would encourage him to come back here at midnight to watch this film.
Yeah.
Instead of just, I'll have it tomorrow.
Yeah, why don't you and your mom come by?
Yeah, exactly. Family, like, whatever. Like, I feel like there should have been.
Well, I mean, the problem is that's not the point of this movie, so they have to just do it fast. There's no reason to really get into that stuff.
In the early
honestly.
90s, 80s, that you always had, like, you had, like, Doc and Marty. What's up with that?
Yeah.
Why are they friends?
Right, for sure.
For some
But see, I never questioned it watching that movie. But if you think about it, it's ridiculous.
I agree, no creepy energy between them.
No.
Also, just everybody was getting molested in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah,
that's also true.
That was a fucking rite of passage.
So it's acceptable. It's okay. So he goes to school because he hasn't been there. He just has a half day because this kid likes to hang out in the movies. And I love his little daydream. He falls asleep in class and he has a daydream where Arnold Schwarzenegger is Hamlet and like is just shooting up like this castle.
Now you know what? Here, by the way,
I would watch.
Here's another part of the movie. So it's funny in the end. I told you I liked this movie in the end quite a bit actually, but I have 2 points right at the very beginning. And here, this daydream where I was like, oh no, is this going to be like a movie where like every 5 minutes it's just changed? I know people like what they like. I don't like fantasy.
Constantly like putting him in different scenarios.
Right. I don't like fantasy that much for the most part, honestly. And so if the whole movie was just going to be like, he was going to kind of be in and out of other movies, I was also equally going to be like, oh boy. And again, in the end, I love the movie. So just keep that in mind.
Agree. I hate this movie. It makes more sense because it's literally built into the structure of the movie. But I hate those false starts. I hate that shit because it's just like, okay, wow, yeah. Thanks for wasting my time with this last 2 or 3 minutes before you pulled the rug out from under me. And now,
yeah.
No, I just liked it because it just gave Arnold some other fun stuff to do.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's fine in the movie, like Scott said.
Hamlet, yeah, exactly. So he goes home and hangs out with his single mom, who blames him for his father's death.
Yeah,
she does. I didn't really hear that. I must have missed that somehow.
Straight up says to him that like it's not. What did she say? Like, it's not my fault this happened. It's not my fault. It's somebody's fault. And
I didn't remember. Man, I'd have to rewatch that. I didn't hear that part.
The mom from Hereditary, like honestly, like just guilting the hell out.
She was guilting him, and then she leaves. And I thought this was funny too because like it was such a quick scene. At first, like the kid wants to go to the movies, right?
Yeah,
and he looks out, and there's a guy that walks past, and I was.
And this was back. I mean, this was
kid. You baby, what are you? Why are you afraid of just a dude?
Well, dude, when you see the opening scene though, dude, I mean,
immediately.
Wait a minute though. When you see this opening scene though, dude, this and with COVID, it's looked like it might have gone back. But like this was at a time they very clearly showed this was a time when New York City, like in the last few years, I've gone like a bunch of times. It's been great, but this was a time when New York City was. They very clearly show. You see when he's walking out down Times Square, and that's when the porno flicks were all down in Times Square and shit. So my point is like. They were living in an area of a time in New York City.
Very dangerous. I wasn't thinking. That's what I was saying. And I was immediately wrong because this guy comes in and tries to rob the kid.
And by the way, this is the third part where I thought I was going to hate this movie because I assumed because of the movie pulling away to the kid in the theater. Then because of the Hamlet thing with Schwarzenegger, I kept questioning, is this real? Did this burglary really happen?
Yeah.
And I was like, if it's gonna be fucking one of these movies, I'm not gonna. And it's so weird because in the end, I really liked it. But there was 3 points in the beginning where I was almost like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. I don't think I'm gonna like this.
Yep. I love that the guy makes fun of him for being poor. Like, too poor.
Right.
He's like, I got nothing in here I could fucking
no
have.
jewelry, no like diamonds or whatever he says. This
no
TV
nothing.
I can barely get any money for. No VCR.
Yeah.
And I think this movie really does benefit from, like I was saying, the bad guys are great. Even in this short scene, it gets weirdly intense for a second. Like,
right.
Yeah, no, I'm in this breaking and entering. I can feel it. Like,
yeah, he pushes that kid hard against that wall just to smash.
Yeah.
So
and real fast too, by the way. The kid like peeks out, there's kind of a guy there, and then he starts to go, and then just boom. This guy, what was he just waiting?
Yeah.
Like does this guy just know that this kid's mom leaves every day? And it's waiting for the one day that he doesn't unlock that door.
Dad in there, somebody else. Like he had no idea.
Yeah, and that's the one, like, I feel like thing where they weren't trying to parody anything, but it still kind of was a parody, where it's like, man, these older action movies and stuff too, just these vicious criminals that just come in out of nowhere and are just like, dude, like, I've never known anybody in my life who's suffered from like breaking and
I want to ask you something
inside the house.
I want to ask you something, by the way. Now, maybe in the end, they had a reason for it. And maybe you guys can point out that I'm wrong and there was a reason for it. But actually, was there any reason for that scene? It doesn't seem to ever be used.
No, because it never gets resolved. I was thinking about that too. Like how this seemed like a scene that was setting up this kid's arc. Where like
or something was going to come from it, but like it never comes back. They don't find... No. Yeah, and even when Schwarzenegger comes out of the movie theaters, like they don't talk about it.
Nope.
They don't sit there and
beat that guy up.
Yeah, no, you would have expected a scene where he beats that guy up, or that kid.
It never comes back. So I wonder if they made it, and then as we get older, when you're younger, you don't know about cutting room floors and editing. Yeah. But I wonder if at one point that was supposed to be something, and then they got to a point where they just couldn't take it out or something because it didn't seem to have a purpose to me.
They should have just taken it out.
Yeah. Well, they had to keep it because he went to the police station.
But that doesn't matter because he was just going to go to the movies. Just have him go to the movie. And his mom barely mentions
that whole thing clip.
Okay, I will say maybe the one thing that they did actually accomplish with that is now you're seeing the police station. So then when they show you the movie police
that's weak as fuck. But I guess.
That's the only thing I can think of.
I was also thinking about this too. He goes to the movie theater, can't get inside. Has to go around back. Like the old man knew he was coming. Why would he not open?
We don't know how late he was. He probably would have been 1 a.m. But he said he was going to be there at midnight. He must have been there like 1 a.m.
because he got robbed.
He was at the
That's true. When I saw that, I was just like,
by the way, a kid who gets robbed in a single household. The cop just says, "Now you just walk straight home, now, mister." Like that's it. There
are vicious criminals all over the place, ready to fucking.
Well, literally, he stepped a foot out of his apartment and got railroaded. And the cop is just like, "I talked to your mom, so you better walk right home, mister."
Yeah.
Early 90s were a different time.
So he goes in this place, and this old guy explains his whole life story. He wanted to be a magician, didn't work out. Has this ticket, says something mysterious about it, and then gives it to him.
Right.
And then he's gonna watch the newest Slater movie. He's getting the chance to
Slater 4.
Slater 4. He says that the ticket is sentient. Also, I thought that was a weird.
I didn't remember. I don't know what that means.
No, just alive. Like it had its own like opinion.
Oh, duh. Yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Sorry, like, sentient being. Yeah, duh. My bad.
Sometimes, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay. And then it's
just
it's
a movie.
Like a pass, right? Like a pass
the ticket doesn't ever seem to make any.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not like I am alive or anything.
By the way, that theater that's run down as fuck. Later, when he needs to find the ticket, he busts open that box. There's like hundreds of tickets in there. I'm like, who are these people? There's no one ever in this theater.
Yeah. And I thought that one was special because it was gold. I thought that.
Yeah, apparently they all looked exactly the same.
Yeah. So he watches. He starts watching this movie. The movie starts out with the bad guys, as a movie should, hyping them up. We've got Benedict, which is Charles Dance.
Yeah.
Which Game of Thrones fame.
Tywin Lannister.
He's great.
Yeah,
Great
bad guy.
Fucking
Great
awesome.
bad guy.
Cold as hell. Just fucking like then the first scene. I love this too, that this mobster is interrogating Jack Slater's second cousin, his favorite second cousin.
Yeah.
And getting what information? Like, oh no, he wants Jack to know that it's convoluted. Whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter because it's not a real movie.
Fucking action movie.
Yeah.
But, so what's his?
I'm not gonna lie.
Benedict
I
kills him.
lost the thread for a while in the
Of
middle of from about this point into like
because the
where
actual movie
Charles
is
Dance was established as
very
the bad
like
guy.
convoluted, like most action movies can be sometimes.
You're like 3 different mobs all fighting with each other.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is you got to remember, like, we're not really watching the full movie. We're just seeing these parts enough to like, get to what we need to see. So
Yeah.
I love how over the top this movie is with his like bullseye glass eye.
oh
Like,
no,
such
for
a
sure.
cool
If you're
fucking
gonna
thing.
do what they're doing,
Yep.
and again, not being an action movie fan myself, but if you're gonna do what they're doing, you have to make all the cliches as strong as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're gonna lean into it,
Like,
'Cause this
like
whole
you said, the
movie
evil guy
really
with a literally glass eye, and it's got a bullseye, and just
Yep.
everything is as like Scott said about like when they go to his house eventually and it blows up, and like it is the most ridiculous. The idea that a bomb in that house would end up affecting like that car even, but have it happen. Why the fuck not? Like,
Yeah.
So essentially, he threatens this cousin, sends him back to tell the main character, Arnold Schwarzenegger, that some shit's happening. And then that cousin gets blown up with Arnold. And Arnold survives. I mean, I know that it is making fun of the tropes, but Jesus Christ. I mean, he's in the house.
Well, but then you get him in the, but you have him in the,
It's a fiery blaze. Like,
but you have him in the scene, and that's what's going on though. You have him in the theater, and you see the kid go, "Nope, they'll both be dead, but he'll be alive."
Yep, yeah,
and then he
that-
gives the
exactly.
classic fucking 2 days from retirement.
one of the cops, one of the police officers at the house, gets killed and is like, oh, yeah, 2 days. From
By the way, I know it's a cliche. Shit, sorry.
No, you're good.
I know it's a cliche, but it's so funny. I always think these ideas like, dude, I know you're a cop or whatever. If you're in the army, if you're in one of these crazy fucking jobs, there's no fucking way, you're in 2 days, I'm going to be retired and, with my wife and we're going to go into Florida, but then you're going in on a major drug bust. Like, no, you're going to be at your desk just doing the most minute things, filling out those last, crossing the I's and dotting the T's or some shit. Like,
I also loved when his cousin, right before his cousin died, one of the tropes they did is like the timer. He just finds cards inside the cousin's like.
By the way, how is that timed to what? When do they know he's going to be there?
And he's done. And he like goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the house blows
And
up.
by the way, he gets down to like 2 at least before he says, "Get out of the hole," or whatever. And it's like, how did he make it? Right.
Yeah.
You're like, there's a countdown.
And to be fair, that is a trope that is still regularly in action. Like, you think about like your Fast and the Furious franchise, Marvel, any of those superhero
Hell yeah.
stuff.
It's still pretty popular.
It just any of that stuff. Like, your main guy is just not gonna die. They're
They're not
skin
gonna
is
die, yeah.
impenetrable. It's impossible.
Right.
That is very accurate. So essentially he is not blown up, and the mob sends some guys after him because they know that he can't die. And the kid gets sucked in. He gets sucked into the back seat of this dude's car. The little ticket's magic, and he's popping into this action movie that he knows and loves so well. And,
Right.
So he's doing that.
Yeah, and we get what? We get a lot of like is that when they go to the police station?
Well,
Yep.
I love the little back and forth they're having in the car because, like, I know it's a movie, but it's also funny that like he treats this kid like a full-grown adult all the time.
Well, the other thing is you got to
more or less
remember though,
his
it's not only a movie, but it's a movie inside of a movie. So like, and the movie inside of the movie is even more obnoxious than a movie you'd be watching. So like,
exactly.
And I will give because like action stars are known for having big egos. I will give Arnold Schwarzenegger credit for one, insinuating to this child that he prematurely ejaculates.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Weird.
He's giving him lessons of life.
Yeah.
And that's what happens when you become a man.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you what does he say? You fucking something, you prematurely ejaculate and you masturbate.
And you get a divorce.
And you get a divorce.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like that's pretty. You very rarely hear a action star. Like,
right. I'll say this. So
premature ejaculation.
So by the way, at this point, since you kind of explained the plot of the movie, which is, again, this kid likes action movies. He has this, gets through magical things. He ends up inside of an action movie. And so I will tell you that that's when it really became fun for me. And I really did enjoy it. And one of my favorite things was honestly, like, I don't know if they were trying to be deep, if it really is fake deepness, if it's just how it was, but I really enjoyed like diving into the idea that this movie character is a real, like going into their world, like going into an action movie, and like you finally go to his apartment at one point and there's, he shoots the same guy that's that's in his closet, and he goes, I mean, how'd you know he's going to be there?
Part of this movie, how'd you know he's going to be there?
And he goes, because he's there, because he's always there. But like his apartment has nothing in it, because when you watch the movies, and I don't watch them for the most part, but you don't see these normal lives that this action hero would have, and it's kind of interesting to me. And then also when go ahead.
Good. No. I not to keep harping on it, but just real quick, that premature ejaculation line too. Based on the logic of the movie, then that's his character, and that was intentionally written in for him.
That's a good point.
Problem that he has.
That's a good point. If he's saying it, it must have at least been in some backstory written down, because he's a fake person.
Had to be, because he's a fake person.
Even if it wasn't on the screen, maybe in subcontext in the
or
his
was
wife's just like handing him the divorce papers, like you nut too quick.
Right.
Yeah, just for a scene of a movie in the past. So
okay, and I know this is slightly later, but really quick, just following that same train of thought too. Later on, he says, I have a girl at the gas station. Like, they think he's married, or they think he's got a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, I have a girl at the gas station. I pay to call me.
Yeah, I don't even. God, some scenes I paid attention mostly, but I missed a few things here and there.
He wants the precinct to think that he's still got like love interest.
Which also, based on the logic of the movie, I feel like they didn't fully think this through, because that means that's like his actual personality that was written for him.
Right.
Yeah, but
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a problem there. I mean, this movie isn't without its flaws. They have a cartoon cat, all right, voiced by Danny DeVito.
Yeah, that was a nice surprise.
I was very happy with that. So he gets in. They do a stereotypical like chicken game, with the bad guys. They win, and then he's like, "You got 10 minutes to fucking prove that that I'm in a movie."
Yeah.
Essentially.
And
then they just go hit on women at the movie Cinemax or whatever, like the Blockbuster.
Yeah.
But again, he's an action hero, so there's really no depth to him in that sense. Like, which is again, that's the stuff I liked. Once they got into that stuff, I really thought that was kind of interesting to see what the action hero would be, and how the kids like notice how there's no ugly women, and everyone's number is 555, and there was some things there that I really thought was funny.
Like movie universe.
I would have been convinced I was in a movie well before Arnold Schwarzenegger, based on the evidence this kid was giving.
Yeah,
right. I know.
You have to know, but he is a character in it, so he's a part of the cause.
But I mean, are we in a Matrix? I mean, that's the thing. So.
And they kind of do get into it later in a way which I liked, where it's like, I feel like part of it was just that emotionally he couldn't come to terms with that, because it meant his whole life was fake.
And by the way, when he does kind of have this scene where he actually is bummed about it, I thought that was really cool for a movie like that. I thought that was, honestly, I didn't expect it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That he it sucks. And also that the cops in real life like are not like they weren't helping at all. And cops in movies are supposed to be these helpful badasses or whatever.
Yeah. Okay,
Like, I
and
love
this
that,
is
like-
another reason too. I would say that it's probably the best Arnold Schwarzenegger movie besides the Terminator films. Is like Terminator feels like just this role he was born to play. Like he's just it makes sense, the accent, everything, his look, like
Right.
killer robot. But like other than that, in all these other movies, he's just like, oh yeah, I'm fucking Alex from Wisconsin. And like whatever, like
Yeah.
and he's still doing the accent and stuff, like your kindergarten cops.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
love with this one too. It's just like, oh yeah, no, like it's the perfect role for him because it's like, no, you're you. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
You're just you, dude.
Yeah, that is true. That's a good point.
How I can't believe we haven't done any like Arnold fucking in what is it? Why can't I think of the word?
Impersonations?
Impersonations, yeah, impressions.
Impressions.
Like,
I'm
yeah.
not an impressions
I'm not a-
guy. I can't do it.
I'm
Yeah.
not an impressions guy.
Neither am I. I have
I
a
feel
very
like this is like one of the easiest, but
I have very, very few, and I don't even know if I ever do impressions. I can quote things if I know like Simpsons or something and kind of do a voice, but it's almost never close to
Yeah.
right.
Nope.
yeah. So essentially with the movie, they go to the mob boss. He just like starts driving around a neighborhood and he's like, you need to go. Yeah, it's right there. Like it's that house right there. The bad guy's in there.
Oh, by the
And,
way, I did do this. I screenshot it, and but in the end, I think that this character, but at some point, I think he ends up getting arrested in real life, like as a something. But for the guy who was the butler of the bad dude, when you pause it on like Prime, it will do that, tell you who the actors are and this and that,
Yeah.
and what their name in the movie is. And you imagine in 2021 here these days, that name character, his name was just Tough Asian Man.
Yeah. What?
And it's like, oh boy.
Yeah.
These days, can you imagine?
Just wait. His character name was that, right?
Character's name was Tough Asian Man. So like in script, it would have said Tough and Asian Man answers the door.
He really
Tough-
reminded me of the guy who throws shoes in
I think he is.
the
Isn't he?
the
And Austin
if it
Powers.
was him, that man definitely did have I know he
Some
was
legal
with
issues,
Oddjob.
right?
Yeah, legal issues. I believe he murdered his wife.
Something.
Right?
He's in jail.
Yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He
Tough
murdered
Asian
his
Man
wife.
is in
Not
jail.
with the shoe though. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah. Ironically. Boy. It went away for a split second in here. Usually it comes back pretty fast. But we will see. Should I exit out or should they? Oh, I'm gonna do this and hope it works.
just with a regular weapon.
If you're
Hey!
listening live,
Hello.
listen
But,
live.
no, I
We're,
feel like you should have bet.
Oh, looks like we got
Can you
him
hear us?
back here.
Yep.
And then there you are.
Can you
Okay.
hear us?
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, it feels like you should have bet a little less of like a tough Asian man and more of maybe an empathetic Asian man.
Right.
In the legal predicament he's in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
Good
and
point.
I love dude. Like he goes to this. He's making fun of this kid about like there's nobody gonna be here, and he goes there, and there are the shadiest people that you could ever have answer.
Right.
a door.
Oh yeah.
Like answer this door.
Oh yeah.
It's the guy with the, like who won't take his sunglasses off, even though he knows about. And
It-
I love
it
that
did
the kid
take a-
has seen the beginning of the movie, so he
And
gets to tell them this like little info.
I
Yeah,
get it, but it did take the character, quote unquote, what is his name now? Scott Tyler can't remember
His name is Benedict
Slater?
in the
Slater. It took
Slater.
Slater a long time to finally be like to even acknowledge that this
That
might
he's
be a
in a movie.
situation.
And my
'Cause, like,
thing
they're-
is either blow the kid off or assume that he's right. Pick a lane. What is this?
Yeah.
Walking up to the door and just like,
Yeah, this is
harassing
insane.
these
Like, if you
people.
think he's being
He-
serious.
Plus, he's
Just
saying
bust
things
in
to
there.
you that are like forget the phone numbers even. The fact that he knows names and stuff, and they don't even question
Yeah.
it. They're just like,
Yeah, and then he just goes, "Is there a drug dealer here?" Not taking it, also being insulting to this place.
Yeah, that's what I'm
If they
saying. Take
weren't.
it seriously or don't.
Yep.
Pick a lane.
for sure. So he kind of, he's suspicious. He's suspicious of him. And then they go back to Slater's house, which door opens. Pretty much a 19-year-old girl kisses this child on the mouth.
Yeah.
Straight on the mouth, and then proceeds to call him cute. It's like,
I still never quite got what the deal was with the kid that
it was some like
skis or
she had to do. Oh wait, what?
It was like his ski. Because at first when she had skis, I thought she said, "Are you skis?" And I thought she was saying, "Are you being skeezy?" But it was, I don't know what skis was.
Like weird later freshman college prank.
Okay, I didn't quite. Okay.
And he shows up later as a distraction. So
yeah,
Skis does. Yeah, they go to the house. He talks about how he's got like counterfeit money that he pays alimony with, which I thought was pretty hilarious. That's one of the things he said.
Really sticking into that act.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my
He's
God.
a piece of shit for
and then he, by the way, finally ends up just this kid who again, like Scott said, at this point, like it's a very odd situation where this kid is either a nut job or you have to at least listen to him. So he listens to him enough that he's going to go investigate something, but like he just leaves him with his daughter, I guess it is, like his very adult daughter.
Yeah, for real. And I love too, like, for real adult daughter that like can also kick ass because she's been living the life, as Slater says,
right?
Whatever. But Arnold gets up. His character Slater gets upset about thinking about his son, how his son died, and is like, I gotta go do some shit, and just jumps off the edge of his house, like 5 stories down, and just like goes and does his own thing, and leaves the kid with the hot older lady. Benedict shows up, gets everybody in a hostage situation, which is why is I want to know why the girl screams so much. Is that like, why wouldn't they just like shut her up? It was like irritating to me, legitimately.
Yeah,
well, I mean, she has like 5.
You're on the side of the mobsters. You're like, shut this screaming woman up.
I know, dude. What do you mean? Why is she screaming? There's like 6 guys in there with guns. They know who her dad is. Like, what do you mean?
She's just
gotta do something.
That, like, also,
he's showing you his bloodshot.
Why aren't they stopping her?
Although in that universe. His son is aware enough to know that there's a fake grenade with a knife. Why doesn't she have some more stuff in the house that's like just almost planned, like a knife up her skirt or something?
Yeah. Or you pull a wall down and you got a gun or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, she kicks a little bit of ass.
Should have given that daughter a fraction of the training you gave your small son.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, she straight kills a man. She breaks the dude's neck.
Yeah.
Like that is a thing she was doing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep. For a PG-13 movie, they are racking up the body.
Well, this was PG-13 again in the 90s. I mean, now, now it'd probably be like MA or something.
Yep.
But...
And this kid is just witnessing it through the whole thing, which I kind of love. Like, and he never is like, this is affecting me. He's like, dope, kill more people, blow them up, shoot them.
I will say in movies like this,
he knows it's a movie.
Right, that's the weird thing. He knows it's not real, I guess.
Yeah.
What does that mean for him, though, right? Does he think that if he dies, he'll be dead?
I wondered about that, too, and that is the thing I really do appreciate about how halfway through they head out into the real world, because I'm like, okay, shit, now we got stakes. Now I know.
Oh, if they hadn't done that, I will say that would have hurt me a little bit, my feeling of it. I loved that they went into the real world. And like I said, as mentioned earlier,
Yeah. So they essentially, Jack comes home, fucks everybody up, uses that sleazy kid as a distraction. So they go to the door and then bust in through the window. Some awesome action, some awesome practical effects. People are flying through walls, windows. This shit is dope. Like I was really happy. And they have like a really awesome like guitar riff while this is going on too.
And it is a weird thing with the psychology of these like older action movies, because I do feel like all of that sleazy kid stuff, all the stuff we were saying,
skeezy was it?
Yeah, skeezy. Yeah, no. Because I thought she was saying, "Are you being skeezy?" Like weird.
Right. Yep. And like, let's be real, that all wrote backwards. Like the writers wrote that backwards from, okay, we need a reason for this adult woman to like make out with this underage.
Oh
child.
yeah, absolutely,
Like that was definitely the root of it, and they wrote backwards for that.
absolutely.
I love the kid chasing after the bad guys and like trying to do a fucking chicken game with them with his bike, and then realize he's like, "Oh, I'll be fine. I'm a part of the hero thing," and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the comic relief." And then immediately they do like a comical, like he flies over this house and
does the ET thing then in the end, which is kind of cool in a way.
Yeah. Good homage to it.
Go ahead.
I don't really know what an ET homage is doing in an action movie parody, but
if you got a kid in a bike, you better do it.
I feel like it was Hollywood, and it's like someone was probably like, "Why the fuck not?" You know what I mean?
Did anybody notice that there's a big moon and a bike?
Feels like a trailer moment too.
Yeah,
exactly. I wouldn't doubt it. Right.
Him saying that too, like that whole sequence, I feel like was in the trailer. So yeah, they don't get him. They don't get the bad guys. They got to regroup back with the cops. Commissioner's yelling at him. He's getting real heated. He says they're off the force.
Yeah.
I'll have your badges.
Yeah, and he says badges. Like the kid doesn't have a badge.
No, he badged the kid earlier on.
Did he?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, because he made him his partner. You're right.
Right,
Which is also insane.
No, he deputized a child.
By the way, I would, if I could ever, I'm a terrible actor, but if I could ever do anything, I'd love at some point in my life to do some kind of bit where I say that. I'll have your badges. There's just something about it.
You're not the right look for that. Be like,
I know I'm not, but I want to say it.
Nerd. Playing the commissioner.
I understand. I still want to say it.
Yeah, that's understandable.
There's something about pounding on the desk, right?
I mean, there's something there, right? You could use him as that to be the opposite.
No,
I don't think so. But I just want to say it anyway.
No, it's like an older bald guy who's kind of weaselly. Like,
oh yeah, I'm too old for this shit.
Commissioner, yeah,
or a grizzled old black man,
or a grizzled old black man. Yeah,
that's right.
No Eric Fades.
No, that's what I'm saying though. You could do it as a bit that he's doing it, right? Because he's the opposite.
Well, whatever. It's all right.
Whatever. So yeah, they get chewed out and he gets fucking fired. And I love this too, that like everybody's just like, wait, what? Like he's getting fired, Slater's getting fired. Like that.
Yeah, like how's that possible?
Like, that doesn't make any sense. And because the kid's altering the reality of this movie.
Right.
Which is pretty cool too. And then we get the scene essentially where what Eric was talking about. He goes to his apartment. There's nothing there. It's completely barren. And he walks in and shoots into the closet and kills a guy. Because there's always a dude.
Right. Which implies that he does go home there, by the way, regularly. Yeah. But what does he do when he goes there? There's literally a bed. And then there's like a kitchen.
I don't think there's a bed. I think there's just
it's a mattress for sure. Maybe it's just a mattress on the ground, but there is a mattress.
In there. Okay.
And then like in his kitchen, there's no sign of, anything, no posters on the wall, no TV, his clothes. I love that they do what's up?
Does he eat?
I had never seen it.
That's the thing though. And I love that.
Talk about it.
I love that they do the closet and almost like a cartoon style, same shirt, 5 shirts, 5 jackets, 5 boots,
same
like
shit. A ton of guns.
Right. Yeah. But all the same, you know what I mean? Which is funny.
I love him too, him breaking down about his daughter and stuff and being like, my life's a sham. This is the thing you were talking about. Like I fake phone calls from my wife at work and my little girl's she's gonna die young. I know it. It's like, Jesus, man. Why is this movie taking this weird sad turn?
No, but see, I liked it because that's the thing. Like it was so funny. You'd never. I honestly, even though I've never been an action person, I'd never even thought about other movies. Like if this was actually in a way pretty genius to me, whoever came up with the concept, because to really deep dive into what would a movie character feel if he found out that he was like not real, but he was it was real to him. It almost would seriously be like, I know we joke about being in the Matrix as humans, but it'd be like if one of us found out legitimately, like you had full proof that we are all in a Matrix and this is not real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you had like full fucking proof.
No, I know.
Not just kind of.
I love how they lean into, because like even earlier on, the one thing that we didn't discuss is that Benedict finds out about the ticket. He sees like that the ticket is magic and he hears like, he's like, how did he know my name? And like all this shit. And starts kind of having an existential crisis. more or less, just
Yeah.
kind of being like, shit, is this real? Am I real? And stuff. And then you have Slater doing kind of the same thing now that he figures it out. And then he encourages him to just finish the case without having his badges. And I love the exposition scene that's next where they're talking about all the nonsense movie crap. And he's just driving down the highway and people are just crashing behind him.
Dude, I thought that was cool.
Hardcore. It was so good.
Because he's just driving, because he doesn't ever have to worry about anything.
No,
he can just drive like a motherfucker and people have to just deal with it.
Yeah, like I love him. Like you're like, I just keep surviving. I thought I'd be dead long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're right. Actually, when you said that real quick, that was a great part of that whole thing where he really does. When what about, you know, Slater won, like whatever, he doesn't understand. Like he's like, I was just a normal cop, and then at one point, just crazy shit started happening. Like surviving.
Yeah. Absolutely. I thought that I'd be dead by now, but it kept surviving. Yeah, they go to they're going to fuck up Benedict's plan for this funeral. Which is another insane thing that like the bad guy fills this dead mafia guy with like neurotoxin.
Yeah, gas, some explosive gas or
gas.
All of these fart jokes.
They had a lot of them. They had a lot of fart jokes, man.
If there's a criticism I have of the movie or a point where I was like, oh, all right.
They really dug it in.
It was the fart jokes.
I've never liked fart jokes ever.
No.
To be honest with you.
No. And it was all fart jokes with this guy because his name's Fart,
right?
And he's full of gas. And then they put him into a tar pit. He doesn't explode.
Silent but deadly.
Silent but deadly. Oh shit, that guy's dead. I did it. I broke the barrier. And then they go to find Benedict. That's pretty much what they're trying to do. And they have this whole like. You find out one of Slater's friends is a double crosser. This whole thing happens, whatever. The main part is they go back into the real world. And that's the fun stuff.
Right. And that's where I mentioned, I already kind of mentioned this before, but that was one of my favorite parts too, where it's like, where he sees Benedict, get in a cab and he just starts boom, 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 boom. And it's like, misses completely, like terrible shots, and you're like, it was so cool to me that they did that they went for it, that in real life you can't just sit there and go boom 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 and expect that you're gonna
they did that earlier in the movie too, where he exploded a car and shot the car and it exploded.
But right, in that sense, it worked like a movie.
They are chasing Benedict and he tries to shoot this taxi. Doesn't work out so well.
Then he breaks the window with his hand and it hurts. Actually, he's like, this hurts. Why does this hurt? And
what is hurting? Like his whole thing. And then one of my favorite scenes of this movie is the chicken game he plays with this dude.
That's good too.
It's just they hit each other and it's a full on like actual collision.
You know what's funny? I wondered what was going to happen, like myself, because I knew they were in real world, but I didn't know how they were going to do it in the movie. I really was like, is at the last second he going to realize this is dumb? And nope, they just hit each other, and it looks it looks exactly what it would. Like if two cars just went about 20 miles an hour and hit each other, like it's just not that impressive. I mean, it's kind of like rough, but not really. And there's not big flames. There's,
it just stays two idiots smashed into each other.
Right. It's just a little fender bender, essentially.
And then he gets out of there and like has like a legit existential crisis of just like, what my whole life was like set up by like writers to make it miserable. My wife left. My shitty kid died, and
which I don't. I'm like, you know what, man? You know how you always talk about Eric, like kind of. Things people deal with in other time periods or places or whatever. It's like, you know what, man? Your life's really not that fucking bad.
No. Banging chicks left and right. I mean, he's a badass.
Immortal.
And actually, by the way, you've even just found out that the kid you thought, the few little things you thought gave you pain aren't even real.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you could just be like,
Yep. He's
this has
not
been
even
fucking
real.
great. What am I doing in this shithole place now?
Let me
Yeah.
back into the movie universe.
You could
for
go back
sure.
now and be like, oh man, I can really fucking let it have it because my kid didn't really die. That's not
It
real.
would be like living forever in a lucid dream.
Yeah, where you could do
Yes.
whatever you wanted all the
And
time.
you
You're
knew it
super
though.
strong.
And you knew it.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
other thing. Not
Yeah.
even like now. The funny thing is, I guess hypothetically, the series is going to end at some point. So I wonder what happens to him when the
Yeah, they end it. Does he die and like his daughter takes over the reins?
Right, but I would take Jack Slater's life over mine.
I agree.
Yeah,
And I don't even like it. I agree.
That's fair. One of my favorite things is Benedict figuring out the same shit that he's in the real world. And
Yes.
the cops aren't really a thing. When he sees these two other homeless men shoot a homeless guy for his shoes, and he's like, for his shoes, there's no police, there's no nothing. What?
Right.
Okay.
He finds out that bad guys can win.
Yes,
in real life.
essentially the bad guys are not getting completely stopped by the good guys by the end of the movie here. And goes to this just random dude and is like, I'd like to try something, and shoots him. And then yells out like one of my favorite things is like, I've shot somebody and I did it on purpose. It's just like, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's so great. And he's like,
That is a good line.
yeah, it's fantastic. So he just is like, I'm gonna fucking just kill people here and like try to live, because his plan before was to steal shit from this reality and go back to his, and
Mhm.
now it's just stay in this reality.
Right.
And then he starts bringing characters because he can use this ticket to
Yeah.
bring characters from
Yeah.
fiction.
It's
back
funny.
to our world.
If they hadn't done other stuff, that could have been a much bigger part of the movie in reality.
Yeah.
It wasn't very much for the most part because of how
No, they
the
only
movie
had
went.
two that
But
he brought back: Death and the serial killer guy, the
The Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, and I loved that. Like I loved that guy, him showing up at that Hollywood like
yeah,
Oh
apartment walk
yeah,
or
okay, yeah.
whatever.
So yep, they're finding out that that's essentially what Benedict is doing, and they think that they're gonna try to kill the actual Arnold Schwarzenegger.
right.
And so they go to the premiere of the movie and try to stop him. But yeah, I love that whole
Kind of a Back to the Future kind of almost little twist there in a way, like
Yeah.
because they meet each other, they're in different
Yep.
timelines.
Yeah, I love timeline movies, but I
Well, but
love
in a
that
way,
he, like,
it's not
hates
timelines. I know,
Different
but
planes of reality.
but okay,
different
there
planes.
you go. Different planes of reality. That's a better way of wording it.
I love that he doesn't like Arnold. Like that, that they weren't like buddy or anything. He's like, I hate you. You fucked up my life.
Yeah.
Like you treated me.
Although
like
if it weren't for him, you wouldn't even be alive. So it's
That
a
is
little.
true. But I mean, if everyone hates you in your life, like you say that, but it's like his life ain't super great. He's gonna have a daughter who's gonna die young before him. It's a hard life.
But he doesn't know that.
Plenty of people have dead kids.
That's
Right.
Would you want that life over yours?
We just said we would already. We both said
I
we
don't
would.
think I would. I didn't think he'd think about
But
that.
also, like, I'm indestructible and I'm like,
Yeah, but you have a few years where you're
awful.
just doing anything, dude.
yeah.
Girls, and you're just
I
walking
might
around
be
with
willing to sacrifice a child for that.
yeah,
I don't think I could.
a fake child, by the way, a fake child.
A fake
It's a
child.
real child to him.
Yeah,
But now he knows that
implanting
it's not.
memories of
But
a
now he
dead
knows that
fake
it's not.
kid. Yeah,
But it is though. It's not even implanting. That shit happened because the movie happened.
yeah, that's true.
So the
That's-
kid
Right.
existed in the movie logic. In that movie world, he's real.
But
Out here,
at this point, he can say to himself when he's still mad at the real Arnold Schwarzenegger, he could say to himself at this point, "Yes, I had those feelings, but I've said that's not actually real." You'd be able to. I think you'd be able to say to yourself, like, "Yes, it still sucks. I knew this person, I guess, but this isn't a real world I'm living in."
yeah, that's true.
It's tricky, obviously. It's. I don't think we're gonna solve the case between us three on how we would all react if we found out our life was a
Yeah,
movie.
'cause
So
to be fair, that's the thing. Like, let's say you found out the Matrix was real tomorrow, and none of the stuff that happened in this life was real.
you
You'd
would
be
still.
like, yes,
yeah.
you fucking made me feel sad.
Of course it would, dude. Of course it would.
Still upset about that. So yeah, the Jack the Ripper gets our kid Danny, which they say, I don't know if they say Danny until the end. because I didn't register his name until he says it like 15 times
I
when he
feel
goes
like-
over the
They say it quite a bit, I thought.
I
But
feel like
At
I
the end-
definitely can remember Arnold Schwarzenegger yelling out like "Danny" or whatever. Like, I
at
can't
the
do
end,
impressions, but-
at the end, he does. He's like, Danny, oh no, Danny, don't go to the edge, Danny. I love you. You're my new baby. I want to stay in this world and fuck your mom.
are you doing Arnold Schwarzenegger or Austin Powers at that point? Like,
he has coffee in the morning.
Yeah,
so
They
that
never-
was
they
another
never
thread
say.
They never got back to. We should have fucked Danny's mom.
he
on
should,
it.
Oh,
I
for
should have
sure.
fucked Danny's mom. Then he could have an actual new life, a new kid. You know.
I
where I
actually
thought they were
thought
going.
that's
I thought
where
they
this
were
was.
too.
I thought that's where this was going to end.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to choose the real
Family.
world, and he was going to hook up with his
Be like,
mom.
no,
That's
I'll
what I actually
choose to
thought.
live this life now, and I'll actually everything means something.
Right, and Danny
But
could
it's
just become his
He's
kid.
like, nope. He gets shot by. So they're on the roof.
Yeah.
They fight. The kid goes over the edge. How does he kill Jack the Ripper? He
Electricity.
electricity. Yeah. He hits the electro thing. He dies. Kid's out hanging over the edge. He saves the kid, and then he gets shot by Benedict.
Yeah.
And then they kill Benedict pretty much
Yeah.
right then.
Yeah.
Because like there's this like little interaction and they kill Benedict, and then they're in this the ambulance like, and he's like, oh, I'm dying, oh shit, I'm actually dying. I've never felt this before.
Now, I guess
Yeah.
actually that's the thing. When I said I thought he was going to stay there, now after that, of course, he couldn't have. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did think that's where he was gonna go.
But it's still, what's this? Why are we spending 10 minutes watching Arnold Schwarzenegger move in on this kid's mom? Now?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
What is that about?
It needs to happen. That's
Yeah.
my thing.
And I, was
I think
like,
that's more relevant
and
than
I
the
was like, he
burglary.
doesn't have a love
Yes, it
interest?
is more relevant because it's way at the end, and honestly, it felt like something was coming of it.
Well, and I think that you were getting some examples of him finding out what a real life was like, because then he finds the classical music and just having coffee. So I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
that maybe.
But then follow through on it. Have him be like, I don't want to be a movie character.
I
wanna
agree.
be real.
I agree. I agree with that. I'm just saying. I would still
the
say
only way to
rail
save him.
Danny's mom.
Oh, real? Oh shit!
but that he's got that premature ejaculation thing going though. So
that is
Yeah,
a problem. Maybe
that's
he'll get
true.
another divorce.
maybe he's nervous.
Yeah,
But I
He's
still,
got
but
a
I think
shot
it's
of
still
weed.
more relevant, like I said, than the burglary. That
Be like,
burglary, the more.
"Listen, Danny, I know he's your hero. It's because you haven't fucked him. You'd have a very
Hey,
different.
Danny would-
perception of him if
Danny
you
should be
didn't
so
fuck him.
lucky to have his on-screen hero
Screen
fuck his
hero
mom.
be his-
Yeah.
yeah. Even if he's not sticking around, just
Yeah.
you know who fucked my mom?
Right.
It lasted 30 seconds, but it happened.
Yeah,
Right.
He's not a laster. He's a comer. That's it.
No, the movie
I hear that.
explicitly makes that a fact.
Yeah. And apparently I have to look forward to that because that's part of manhood. Free ejaculation. That is not. That is a
Oh yeah,
Specific thing.
definitely not.
Yeah, that is a thing specifically Arnold Schwarzenegger apparently did.
Absolutely.
on a regular basis.
Absolutely. No one I know has that problem.
Yeah.
No one
the
personally
hell,
I know.
Arnold.
I'm talking about me. Get it?
Yeah, I know.
he starts naming other symptoms of like steroid abuse. Just be like, yeah, dude, once you're an adult, like your balls just shrivel into
Right. That just is crazy.
That's just adulthood.
That's just being an adult. Yeah. You start lactating. It's a thing.
Yeah,
When you get old enough, you'll get it.
yeah.
As
These
a
are all
man.
normal things.
For a man.
Right.
To have happen. Your balls go away and you start lactating.
Yeah, you
can feed
you
babies.
you have bursts of just immense rage
and
and
crying
violence
at the same
and
time.
cry. Yeah,
you're a very emotional person. Anyway, so he gets shot. There's this heart, warming scene of him being like, "You can do whatever you want, Danny. You're the best." And then he like throws him back in the movie. And I love the doctor is just like fucking. It's just a flesh wound. Like we. Can get
Yeah. Oh yeah. In the movie, they're like
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Why are we even
in real
talking
life,
about
they're like,
this?
He's gonna die. He's gonna
Yeah.
fucking die.
You're like, why are we even talking about this? Why is he even here?
Yeah. Like, get up, buddy. Let's go.
Yeah, rub some salt on it, fucker. Like, let's go.
Yeah. I just love, yeah, it's not a big deal. Like, it's just a flesh wound.
Rub some dirt. That's what you're supposed to say, not salt
Yeah.
or whatever.
And it really doesn't end with the kids' shit being resolved.
No, the ending isn't great.
It's
To
just
be
like,
honest with you.
it's cool you got that experience, Danny. Have a
Yeah.
good life.
I mean, he gets to keep the ticket. That's pretty
No,
cool,
no. Well, he gets
right?
the other half, but he doesn't give it to the old guy.
No, the old guy gives it back to him. The old
Oh,
guy's
you're
like,
right.
no, the magic's for you. Your magic, Danny.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's the kid hangs out with the creepy old guy in the end.
But it was still,
Right.
yeah, and it was still like we set up that his dad died young or something.
Yeah.
That never really
But
comes
exactly,
back.
you need Arnold to be his new dad.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's how the ending should have gone, dude.
Yeah.
That's how the ending
Like,
should
I
have gone.
love
That's
this
my only.
movie, but I 1,000%
He should
agree.
have had a little bit. We should have spent 5 more minutes with him having a connection with Danny's mom, and then he should have gotten fixed in the
Oh.
movie world, and then was like, "I want to come back to the real world because I love you."
Forgot about one of my
Right.
favorite things too is Death coming and being like, oh, he's not gonna, he can never die. I don't have his name on my list, but
Yeah.
you, I know when you're gonna die. Little
It made it sound. By the way,
Yeah.
didn't he make it sound like Danny was going to die rather young?
No, he said you're gonna die a grandfather.
Oh,
he
okay. I must have misheard. I misheard it or something.
Yep. Yeah, but
That's when you're like, "Okay, I'm just never gonna have a kid, and I'm gonna be immortal then."
you made
Right.
a different choice, Danny. And now you're dead.
By the way,
did
I will
like
say
he was
this.
killing people. He was killing people too. He just touched him.
This was subtle to
Yeah.
maybe some people, and I'm not trying to be too, but I did like that. Like Tyler's right, Death killed a few people on his walk, but I like that. Unlike he usually portrayed as Death just touching somebody and just drop dead, that like he touched the cop the one time, and like he kept walking, and it took a little bit. Like the cops, started coughing a little. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
because like usually they portray Death as like he just touches somebody
just
and they just
dies.
drop down.
It's like,
Versus,
no,
like-
he got like a
Because it was a
cancerous
long
tumor.
time. I was like, when he touched him, I was like, does he not have powers in this world or something? Is that the
Right, and that's my point. I
thing.
kind of liked that it wasn't just instant, because that's not how
Yeah.
death would happen. To
Yeah,
most
yeah.
most people do not just instantly just fall down. Yes, even if you have a heart attack, you have like or
even
something
that?
like,
You'd be like, yeah, grabbing your
Just
arm.
yeah, that
Like,
rectal
oh.
cancer's gonna come for you like 10 years from now.
yeah.
You touched him, and it's just like this long, prolonged thing.
This little tumor just starts growing.
Yeah, now cancer is there. It's not completely metastasized, but like, it's there. Yeah, that would have been dope. But pretty much, yeah, the end of the movie. Kid walks off with the old man. They makes sweet love. I don't know what they do, but
God, you're
like,
really obsessed with the idea of that kid and that guy having
I
sex.
think that they're fucking. That's all I'm saying. Like Scott
You
said,
really
everybody was
assume the worst.
molesting.
Like pedophilia
I'm
is a very
sorry,
high on your
old
list.
man and a child hanging out is an inappropriate thing that I've never seen outside of a creepy man.
Okay, here's another.
But again, it's never portrayed like in this movie though. You're thinking of
true.
real life.
And we
It's supposed to
actually
be real
know
life.
this old man's sexual preferences because he explicitly tells it to you when he takes that ticket, where he's immediately he's like, I'm gonna fuck Marilyn Monroe. I'm gonna fuck.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I'm
Like,
definitely
he-
not trying to bang kids. I just feel like you shouldn't be hanging out with a kid unless it's your kid or you're an uncle.
He also
Or,
played
like,
the Catholic.
something along those
Actually, that would hurt him. Never mind.
Yeah,
would hurt. No, I was gonna say he played the Catholic priest in Rudy, but that's not a great.
yeah, it's not a great example of him not touching.
Yeah, he was a
children.
Boy Scout leader. He was.
Uh-oh. Shit. Right at the end here. Fuck. Damn it. We should have right at the fucking.
a Catholic priest. This is
Cool. Can you hear us?
Yeah, keep talking a little bit.
Yeah, It'll work in just a second.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. This week is honestly, it hasn't that bad, but it's been kind of rough this episode.
No, it hasn't been this bad in months, so it's okay.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's not very typical.
Anyway, that's probably
so yeah,
that kinda
I would say like final thoughts on the movie. What was your favorite part?
My favorite parts were all the kind of parts I've kind of described through it. I really did in the end enjoy shit, man. Fuck, dude. Try this again. Fuck.
Favorite line, favorite something from it.
Sorry about that. God, dude, I don't know what. All of a
No,
sudden,
I think it's us. I'm pretty sure it's us.
All right. Well, whatever. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah,
My final thoughts, like I said, in the end, were basically what I kind of described a few different times. That why I ended up enjoying this movie is the parody nature, and then also that I thought they actually went for an action/parody movie. They actually kind of went a little deep too, and I thought that was interesting to me.
Yeah. I would say, like, for my final thought, I would say, like, I wish one of my biggest beefs with, like, modern action movies is I wish they had I wish that everything wasn't a franchise. You know, you got this is a one-off movie, like, with its own mythology, its own whatever, and it's a full story, and when it's done, it's done. I love the practical effects. Like, I don't know. I wish that more. I feel like this movie was not well received in its time because
I could see that
a lot of risks and because it was so ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I wish more movies nowadays would take risks
Yeah.
and seem like their own individual product.
Dude, I swear, and I know, dude, this is gonna sound kind of old man, like thinking back to a movie that's really old, not old at this point, but pretty old. And I know they've been done. I know there must be some. I'm sure I've missed them. But like Inception is one of the last ones I really remember thinking like, wow, that was different. Wow, that was different.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's been something since that I've missed, but Inception was one of those ones to me where I was like, that was different.
Absolutely. It's a rare thing nowadays.
Yeah, no. Like, even with a lot of movies that I love, like I've said before many times, like I love like the Fast and the Furious franchise. The last Fast and the Furious movie was awesome, but you know what? It still felt like, okay, this is like episode 9 in a series.
Yeah.
Its own thing.
Yeah,
for sure. I love this movie. It's one of my favorite action movies. I think it's hilarious and weird and like all the things you guys were saying. I honestly. Yeah, like literally what you were saying. I wish more movies would put effort. Honestly, more practical effects. I loved the action scenes in this because, one, they were funny and they were over the top. Like, everything felt real. Everything felt like something was hitting something. When they crashed in that chicken fight, like that, you felt that impact.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like a lot of things now, like Marvel movies, which I am a fan of, still kind of are like ripping through tissue paper.
It's like Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, right. I gotcha.
And I will say too, like, I really did love that they didn't. Everybody, they weren't rewarded for it, unfortunately, because this movie was not well received for a long time. But like, everybody was totally committed to this thing and this premise and stuff. The writing was fully committed. The directing was. Arnold Schwarzenegger was. Like,
great point, dude. That's a great point. Yeah. That's a really good point.
It was not. There was no half measures. It was like, we're doing this weird thing, and just hopefully.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And actually, some of your points have made me realize that I really even appreciate it more now that I've seen it. I'm glad it's a movie I've seen because I never ever would have watched this on my own. So
yeah, fair enough. I was gonna say too. I know we didn't completely go through it bit by bit. So if you have seen it, cool, you'll love this. If you haven't, check it out and then listen to our review because I feel like you'll get a lot more out of it if you actually know what we're talking about.
I would certainly say, for me, coming from a person who does not like action films, I really liked it. So if I liked it, I think that a lot of people would. That's what I feel like.
And
if I liked it, I think people would
recommend.
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Check it out. So yeah, that was our episode on Last Action Hero. I'm your host, Tyler Charles. What do we got going next week? Any teasers for our 40th episode? 40th
wow,
episode.
it works out good. It's 40th. I'm a weirdo. I like numbers. I like to have big things happen on. Oh shit, are you guys frozen one more time?
No.
Fuck, man. Okay, there you are.
No,
We're here.
no, we're not.
I like things to happen on like 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm so dumb. I think it's like OCD with numbers. And I don't know how to tease it. I'm not going to say too much. I'm going to say that we're doing an episode next week that's rather special, something that we three have known about for a while, but I've made some hints on my Facebook, but it's going to be a very special episode of Two Hippies, One Drunk. You know, we're going to talk about something that's coming up that we're all very excited about. But I'm not going to say
call it a 40th episode spectacular.
Yeah, sure. There you go. Yeah, 40th spectacular. I like it. I like it, man. I'm going to have some fucking fireworks or some shit or some whatever. I don't know. But
you need a sparkler. Just
yeah,
get a
sparkler or two. But I'm not going to say anything more because it's so weird because I don't want to like even hint at it other than it's going to be very special that we all three have already known about it. And we're going to talk about something that's coming up that we're all excied about. So
a tease of a tease of a tease. So,
right, kind of.
Check out our 40th episode spectacular
Woo!
Next week. Eric will be hosting, so check that out. Again, this is Two Hippies, One Drunk.
Also, liking round numbers is not a.
Oh, fuck. Christ. Oh, we got to do this again for like 2 seconds. Are you? Oh, fuck.
Weird thing at all. It's actually very human.
Need to do is end it. Okay.
Yeah, we got to go because otherwise this is gonna. Oh shit! Now you fucking froze again. Fuck, man. What a bummer.
So it's bad. I'm going to reload it to end it.
Today, so bear with us. We're really trying to just end this episode.
Yeah,
so Tyler can have an ending.
Anyways, that's how you make a pipe bomb. If you want to send one to Comcast,
Keep talking.
Let us know
for their internet mail fees.
I don't
feel free.
Now you know how to make pipe bomb.
Oh, there you go.
See you next week. Like, subscribe, all the stuff to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. We also are on iTunes. Give us those 5 stars. Get some free stuff from us, like we told you before. And we'll see you next week.
All right.
We're going.